This is going to be a movement to try and decrease muscle tone and guarding and sometimes pain in the back of the hip or even sometimes in the lower back. I typically start with a tennis ball. Anything is fine that's kind of round, tennis ball, lacrosse ball. Tennis ball is a little softer, so it's going to be a little bit more gentle than something hard like a lacrosse ball or a racquet ball. So this is a good place to start. Now with this, it's important to note that I don't want to torture myself, right? Like if I have a spot that's really painful and sensitive, sometimes it's not okay with me putting a lot of direct pressure on it, but I may put the ball kind of like around the perimeter of that painful spot so that it's uncomfortable but not really painful. And then typically the more I work around that perimeter, I can make my way closer to that origin of pain and it becomes less and less painful. So that's really the purpose for this, is to decrease sensitivity and pain in this area or sometimes into the lower back. So I'm going to take this ball and I'm going to put it between my hip and the floor. That's typically where I would do this. Or if someone does it on a bed, I tell them maybe put something hard like a book or a cutting board and then the tennis ball so the bed doesn't, or the ball doesn't just disappear into the bed. And I put this underneath. The side that the ball is on, that knee is bent, right? And with this leg, as I rock across my body, I take pressure off the ball. So now there's very little pressure, I don't feel much of anything. And then as I slowly rock my knee out to the side, I begin to put pressure down into the ball, right? So I can go as far as comfortable. Now with the tennis ball, as far as discomfort level, on a 0 is nothing, 10 is the worst pain ever, you want to feel like it's a little uncomfortable, maybe a 2 to a 3, maybe even a little bit more, a 4. And I always ask people as they're doing this, and you see I'm kind of rocking into the ball and then rocking off of the ball. You want to ask yourself, as I'm doing this spot, is it feeling better? Is it feeling worse? Is it feeling the same? So as long as it's staying the same as far as the amount of discomfort or maybe getting a little better, then this is probably helpful. But if I have this tennis ball in a spot that's really sensitive, if I put direct pressure there, it may start to feel worse than when I do it. And in that case, this isn't helping me, right? Because it's increasing my pain. So if I find that to be the case, I may try and move the ball just to be a little bit off of that spot. Or I may ditch the ball altogether. Like I said, this is only helpful if it keeps that discomfort the same or makes it better the more that you do it. And when you take that ball away, you should feel the same or maybe a little better than you did prior to putting it there. So, if you're doing this and this is getting more sore the more you do it, or when you get done, you're like, oh, this really hurts now. Well, that didn't really benefit you, so this isn't the thing for you. But this does help a lot of people with muscle pain or stiffness or sensitivity, that by doing this kind of self-massage where you put yourself in a position that's uncomfortable and then you bring that leg across to relieve that discomfort. You don't have to go as far out as you can. You can go like right here, it's uncomfortable, and get back off of it. And usually, like I said, I'll keep this pretty much right along the top of my glute, right along the top of my hip below my pelvis. I may even go down into the middle of my glute. I'm pretty much looking for spots that feel a little sensitive, like they may benefit from someone massaging into that area. This is just a self-massage technique. Usually I'll do 10 to 15 reps at a spot, and then I'll move it. And if I find a spot that's really painful, like I said, I'll work around the perimeter a little bit at a few different spots, and then maybe I'll come back to it and I might say, hey, you know what, that doesn't hurt as bad now. So this even becomes a little bit of a self-test to see, as I'm doing this, maybe like each day, I come back here and it might be harder for me to find areas that are sensitive, which is a good thing, right? It means that I'm decreasing some of that muscular stiffness or sensitivity, and that typically also equals, hey, I have less pain when I do things. So that's the purpose of the tennis ball. Really helpful tool for someone who has pain, probably the first thing I reach for if I have pain in this area, as long as it's not overly sensitive.